Hello, everybody. Welcome back to You've Been Josh with Josh. I'm your host, Josh. Today is episode 25. 25. It's a quarter year old. We are now a quarter of a way to 100 episodes, and I wanted to stop and take a moment and kind of talk about this this past year. I feel like because this is it's kind of like a benchmark episode. I wanted to talk about a few things. I've also have a lot of things happening right now, stream related, life related, and also I realized that this coming Monday, the 4th of April, is my 1 year of being full time. I've almost been doing this full time for a year, and I think that is an achievement within itself, for a multitude of reasons. So this is gonna be more of a relaxed episode, because it's gonna be more sentimental than anything. But I wanted to discuss how this past year has gone, how I'm feeling about being full time, because we've talked about stream, we've talked about the changes we've gone through. We've talked about some of the struggles that come along with being full time, but I think I think it's good to revisit and contemplate and think about it, and see our footing. See where we're standing. We've been sailing across this on this juice box boat we made across this ocean of juice, and we should mark where we've come so we can find our way back if we need to. That metaphor did not make any sense. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing well this week. Hope everyone had a great fucking week. I had a great week. It's been a great week. It's been an absolutely fantastic week. I have never been more motivated in my life right now. I every single time that I get a burst of motivation and I go fucking ham, I surprise myself because it's always more so than the last time. And so I think I'm just building more of a work ethic for things that, this is the skill base that I never thought I'd be in. It's not like, oh, I'm going and working with my hands and doing this. I have to make sure that I follow my schedule that I've set for myself, since I don't have one from an outward source or a boss or something like that. I don't have anybody telling me what to do besides myself. Which is it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because you have to take accountability for yourself. You have to make sure that you get things done. You got to make sure that you're doing things to pay the bills. You got to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and also getting things done. Like, obviously there's things that I could do better at. I feel like anyone can say that. Social media is still really hard for me. I was never one to post on social media prior to doing streaming, so this is still really hard. It's really hard for me to stay up to date and like focus on that, because I don't feel the need to share everything that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If anything, the most thing that I've grown accustomed to is Twitter, because Twitter, if I have a funny thought or if I just think of something weird, I'll tweet it. It's become my outlet of just weird thoughts. The podcast, if I need to talk about stuff, I talk about it on the podcast. I save it for that week. It's kind of like my venting session. Not really. That's a bad way to put it. It's my journal. I like saying that the podcast is my journal. But I feel like everybody has those specific things that they're lacking in for, content creation or whatever. So like, obviously, I'm going to have ups and downs and that kind of thing. But I feel like now I'm finally finding my footing. I'm finally being my own boss, really, and like being like, hey Josh, it's time. I gotta go. And then, and it sucks because I get upset when I'm like, oh, there's people hanging out in the Discord, and like Joy's home, like I need to spend time with her because it's the only time I get with her. Like I need to go, and although it sucks because I do want to hang out with people like I'm taking that initiative to be like, hey, you got to get up, you got to go. And although it sucks because like I do want to hang out with people, I am doing what I need to do to get things done. you know, um, and especially with I think with this new schedule being in the mornings, I think that's helped a lot with motivation because after stream, I'm not tired because normally I would do my whole day and then I would do my stream, and then after stream, that's when I would hang out with Joy and work on some stuff, and I would work on stuff beforehand, but stream hypes me up, you know. So like after stream, I'm more motivated to do stuff. Um, so then I'd end up staying up super late, and then there's a problem. So like now I get up and I instantly stream. So at the beginning of my stream, I'm a little tired, you know, like I'm still like waking up, but then by the end of the stream, I've been up for a while, I'm feeling good, and I go. And then like afterwards, you know, right after stream, I'll sit and I'll do a bunch of stuff, and then come 6 o'clock, I'll either hang on the Discord or I'll go lay down, take a nap, or I'll go take a hike or something, and then it's time for time with Joy, you know. So it's you know it's working. But anyway, before we go into a really deep dive with everything, a couple announcements. We reached 180 platinums for PlayStation. That's our update on the PlayStation platinums, which is fucking nutty. 180 is crazy. 180 is absolutely insane. But we're 20 away now from getting the platinum goal for 2022, which is crazy because it's almost April and we're almost there already. So we're definitely gonna have to extend it. I don't know what we're gonna extend it to, but we're gonna get there. But I'm very pleased to say that my 175th, which is a benchmark one, which means that from here on out, whenever people look on the side of my profile and they're looking down through the milestones, 175th will always read as the platinum, the big D. I found that trophy as a platinum name, and I was like, I need to have this as my 175th. That sounds so funny. And so the big D is my 175th, and it'll forever be on my profile. The big D. I love it so much. So we're definitely going to need to extend it out. I think my percentage is at almost 74%, which is coming close to that 80 mark, which we wanted, because when we started, I think I was at like 64. So we've gone up by 10%, which is fucking awesome. So I'm going to just keep pushing along, keep chugging along, see where we can get. And we'll expand it where we need to. But I'm very excited about that. That's something that happened this week. Second announcement. We made a Patreon. I wanted to take my time with it. Like, it's something that I wanted to do, obviously, because of me going full time. Another outlet to get some cash flow, so that way I can continue doing this full time and pays for different things. So I wanted to see how the year went, and I wanted to take my time thinking about rewards, because obviously with Twitch you pay a monthly subscription and you get emotes and you get certain things and perks and whatnot. And that's my main platform. That's where I do most of my content. I stream 5 days a week on Twitch. So obviously, like, you have perks already by subscribing to that. So I wanted to figure out what would be a good thing to have on Patreon, so people would feel like they would want to do both, you know, because obviously that's 2 subscriptions. That's a lot to ask of people. So I wanted to have the perks of the Patreon to be different from the perks of the Twitch, you know, the subscription of Twitch. So I'm really excited because I took a lot of time. Huge shout out to Sindrag, who is a past guest on the podcast, for helping me come up with some stuff and just kind of like reviewing everything that I put down. So that way I had another set of eyes looking at it over the course of the time that I made it. It's got some cool things. If you are a listener of the podcast, you love the podcast, there's some really cool things to go along with the tiers of the Patreon for the podcast, such as early access to the episodes. So the day I record the podcast is the day you can listen to it. So sometimes I record on the weekend for like guests, if it's easier for them. So you might be able to listen to the podcast 4 days before it normally comes out. Some days you'll get it a day or two early. It's really dependent on that, but you'll get early access to the episodes to listen to before it gets released on the platforms, as well as bonus episodes. So an extra 30, I don't want to say 30, 20 to 45 minutes of extra footage and content and whatnot for the podcast, just as extra talking. I got some free merch. There's merch discounts on there. I got some really funky, weird rewards on there. I have you get a special Discord role, custom emotes in the Discord as well. Just a bunch of random things. I put a lot of time into it. If you'd like to check it out, it's in the description. Obviously, everything that goes into that goes to paying the bills and continuing this, and progressing forward. And lastly, the announcement that I have is about the Guinness World Record. And I know that a lot of people know about the Guinness World Records. Like they're obviously a big company. They come out with a book every year with all the records of the world. And it's pretty cool. People come up with records every day. It's one of those things that people come up with world records all the time. There's a lot of ones that have to do with apples, surprisingly. But I wanted to see if there was one that I could break, because how awesome would it be is the guy who calls himself the Apple Lord had a Guinness World Records that has to do with apples. You know what I'm saying? So on stream, we took a deep dive. We found a website called Record Setter, which is kind of like the self-made one below Guinness World Records. It's kind of like it's official, but like not in as official. Like you don't get a plaque or anything. And we found one that's on there for holding an apple in your mouth. Like you take a bite, but you don't actually bite all the way through, and you hold the apple between your teeth and you hold it there. The second highest time for length of holding the apple was 6 hours and 6 minutes. That is a fuck long. That's a whole bunch of time. It's a fucking long time. But a couple months after that, it was beaten, and now the record is 12 hours and 13 minutes long. 12 hours and 13 minutes of sitting and holding an apple. I guess you could stand and holding an apple in your mouth. Now to beat that, my goal was to do a stream and do that, because I thought it'd be really, really fun. Although I'll probably get lockjaw, my jaw will really hurt, and it's going to be a long time of not talking, But I would have to record the entire thing, which would be over 13 hours. And then on top of that, upload it, which would be an incredibly risky thing, but then also time consuming thing. So what I was thinking, because it would be cooler to be in the Guinness World Records, it doesn't have that record accepted in their book or, in their thing. So I was like, hey, why don't I contact their representatives? Because they always have someone watch or come and visit and like watch the thing happen. They probably do it over the internet. Plus, if we're streaming it, they can just watch me do it. Like I talk to them and they have someone watch me do it and see if they would accept it as a new world record in the Guinness book. Because if they do accept it, then I would be the first in the book and for the record, and we could blow the other one that's on Record Setter out of the water. So I called my only fear for myself, obviously, is my enamel, because apples, me knowing all the fucking facts about apples, apples have citric acid, of course, and then not citric acid, amino acids, sorry. And they're high in sugar. So obviously my enamel is going to become weakened because I'm holding it surrounded in the juice of the apples for a very extended period of time. So I wanted to talk to a dentist as a professional, like, hey, what would you suggest? What would you recommend? Is it even a good thing to do? Like, blah, blah, blah. They obviously were like, oh, there's some dangers that go along with it, but as long as you're being careful and you're using like a less sweet and a less acid heavy apple, you should be fine. And so I did a lot of research. I'm thinking it's going to be an ambrosia apple, because they're the lowest in acidity and lowest in sugar. But then on top of that, at least I think it's lowest in sugar. I know it's the least acidic apple. They suggested that I use Sensodyne toothpaste, mouthwash, and floss the week leading up to it to just strengthen my enamel as fucking like as much as possible before I do it. So that's the plan if Guinness World Records says yes. We'll go from there. I will keep you updated. I just thought it was a really fun thing. I'm really excited because I think it'll be really fun to do. But we'll see how that goes. we'll see. We'll see if it actually happens. So, going back into what we were talking about, it has been a year. It has been a year of doing this full time, working from home this entire time. Joy has been my wife has been the moneymaker. She has been super supportive and 100% down for me doing this since the get-go. She is one of the most wonderful and amazing people I've had the honor of having in my life. Obviously I married her, so fucking lucked out. But but we didn't know how it was going to go because obviously there's some risks. Her and I talked about it for about 3 months leading up to April of 2021. We talked about it like 3 months leading up because if things were going really well with Twitch and like I was really excited and like there was a lot of hype, and so I was like, I want to do this full time. Like this is what I want to do. And at the time I was working at Starbucks and it was crazy where I worked, and the store that I was at was really bad. So I wanted to get out of there. So that was also making me want to go. And I just was so tired. Like I would come home and I would want to stream, but also I'd be so tired that I'd stream for a couple hours and then be exhausted and want to get off. And I wanted to go for it. I wanted to just go for it, but also I knew that there was a lot of risks that came along with it financially. And she was still in school at the time, so we were just like, let's think this through. Let's figure out what we want to do. And we decided that we were going to do it. Though we knew that later on down the road, I might have to get like a part-time job or I might have to do something, But we were ready for that, And obviously a lot has happened since I started going full time. I'm really happy with the progress we've made. Obviously, we've lost a couple people along the way, but I feel like I lost myself along the way as well. I talked about this before, I think. I feel like I lost myself a little bit along the way. With stress, with financial like worry, with just a bunch of things. Like obviously, I knew the risks. I knew that there was things that were going to happen that we would have to give up. That things that I'd have to really push for and try and go for. And I'm still 100% certain that this was what I wanted to do and this is what I should have done. I don't have any regrets. Someone asked me the other day if I was trying to push away people in my life from when I first started. And they asked, they confided in me and was open and honest with me about saying that they felt that I had changed from who I was when I first started, and that I don't do the things that I used to do, and I just don't seem like I'm enjoying it anymore, and that's why they haven't been around. And I appreciated their honesty, and it sucked to hear, but like I had a bunch of conversations about this with my wife, with other people, with other streamers, and I've realized that like this is something that I wanted to do, something that I knew that it would be perfect for my personality, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. Because obviously when I first started streaming, I did it as trophy hunting, and then I moved from that, and there was hype, and I was just kind of doing everything that came at me, and I was trying everything and doing everything and pushing myself past the limit on top of being tired, and I wasn't truly who I wanted to be. I wouldn't say I wasn't who I wanted to be. I wasn't doing what I truly wanted. And then when I became full-time, I started doing more of what I wanted. But with other things going on, I wasn't happy. And then now with things being changed and me trying new things, I'm finally feeling like I'm finding myself. I'm finding the content that I want to create, the things that I want to do. and the people I want to be around. I think that's the biggest one. Um, and I never want to push anybody away, and I never want to. My intention is never to get rid of people who were around in the beginning. That's not what I want. And it's one of those things that come along with streaming is I know that there's going to be people who, with these changes that I'm making and the content choices that I'm going with, and I feel like I'm being a little more relaxed than I used to be. With that, they might not have interest in what I do anymore, and that's fine. Like, one of the biggest things I've learned is, I think it was Jay Schlatt who said this, but if I want you guys to treat everything that I do like it's your favorite TV show. If something happens in the seasons that you don't like, you don't have to keep watching. You know what I'm saying? If you lose entertainment from it, why, continue, And obviously the writing might get better, and then the show might get better, and who knows, and then you want to come back. Who knows? But it's bound to happen. And there's a lot of people when I first started who aren't around anymore, and I think it's not, some of them are not because of the content, but because of who they were, and we didn't vibe well, and it came to light later on, and that's bound to happen. It's just like friends. I've had plenty of conversations on this podcast about that, but you got to do what works for you, and you got to do what's best for you. And I feel like I'm happier now than I have been in a while, and I'm more confident than I have been in a while. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I seem extroverted, but I am very introverted. And every single time I go live, I'm very nervous every single time. And with the added stress of being full time, even though it was a choice that I made, I'm not trying to make an excuse. I've gained a lot of weight from doing it, and I've lost a lot of the confidence I used to have because of that. And so with that on top of it, it's just been very stressful. And so now with and the other thing that I feel like I don't talk about either, because I try to be open with everybody, but also my private life is my private life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this back and forth. I try to be open with people, but then I also I want to have some privacy. But then it's this back and forth. And I've mentioned this a few times on stream, and I think I mentioned it with Tug. But I used to smoke a lot, and then I started vaping, and then I quit. But I didn't tell anybody I quit. I kind of just went cold turkey with my wife, and we kind of just did it. And there was a lot of like stress on top of that, but then also when I was on it, I was stressed all the time because I was using it. And so it was just this back and forth of all these different things this past year, especially with COVID and all this stuff, and it was just this clusterfuck. And so I don't have any regrets, but I've learned a lot. And now I'm still learning. Things will still keep going, but I'm happier now, and I'm finding things that I like, and I'm doing those things, and I'm focusing more on those things. And we're at 25 episodes of the podcast, which is absolutely crazy. That's over 25 weeks of us doing the podcast. That's so much time, and so much of me just talking and having people on, and it's such a weird thing to think about. Especially now coming up on 1 year of doing this full time. Like I didn't know how this year would go, and obviously it was nowhere near what I thought it would be, but also at the same time, it's nowhere near where I thought it would be. If you see what I'm saying, like it's on both fields. Like I never thought I never thought that I'd be this happy here and now, and be as content as I am, but also I never thought that I would have gone through so much and lost so many people along the way. It's as if two roads merged together and created a new path that's better. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, hey, I hate option 1, I hate option 2. Let's make an option 3 and went down that one, you know? Um I don't know. It's been an interesting fucking year of being full time. Obviously, it was nowhere what I thought it was. And again, when I went full time, I went full time on a whim. You know what I'm saying? Like we thought about it, we did it. I say I'm not using the correct vocabulary. We made the decision knowing that I didn't have an experience doing this kind of content full time. I've worked for myself before on multiple occasions in multiple jobs, but I've never worked for myself in a setting that was solely at home doing online social content kind of stuff, like on platforms. I've never done that before. So I knew going into it that there was going to be things that I didn't know how to do, that I would have to focus and learn how to do. And I knew that I would have to push myself, given the fact that I am home 24/7. And I finally feel like I'm slowly getting into a groove, doing things diligently every day to make sure it continues. Like having a question of the day for every stream, making sure I make the panel, I insert into my Streamlabs, and I also add it to the command and update it every day that we have one. Updating my PlayStation information, updating the stream stuff, updating all my other things, doing the podcast every week, all of the people that I have to talk to over emails, doing like the sponsorships and all of those things, all of that, you know, and there's so much stuff that I have to pay for that have become bills for the job, like the podcast. I have to pay $15 a month to run the podcast and have it dispersed over all the platforms that I have. That's like the RSS feed to have the feed that I can put on the things. There's a bunch of different places you can go to do it. Mine's more of like do it yourself, so it's cheaper, which is great. But there's that. Every month I have to pay for that. Then of course I have like the subscriptions to my friends and stuff. Those are, by choice. I think I have like 6 at the moment, because I have to be select because there's only a certain amount that I can do every month, because of bills. I don't want to sit here and list off all my expenses, but if buying new games to play on stream for everybody to enjoy, focusing on spending time with Joy, when also wanting to trophy hunt and do that because we're working on that goal, being able to to schedule my time wisely and effectively, do things for stream, make sure things are good. Thank God for Google and all of its free software, because Google Sheets, Google Calendar, Google Forms, Google Meet, all of that stuff I use daily, and I have it connected to my phone. So I'm becoming more diligent in my schedule, because if I have told someone that I'm going to do something with them, it is marked in my calendar and saved. So that way, at that time, on that day, I am in Discord ready to rumble. Because it's so hard to keep track of everything, especially with time zones and stuff. And I just feel like I'm finally at a spot where here's the best way to put it. Because I feel like I'm just going in circles, but not saying it in the way I want to. There is a reason I have just put a sub goal on my stream. I have been full time for a year, and I have never had a monthly, daily sub goal, whatever, on my stream for this entire year. I haven't had a Patreon for this entire year. I haven't had all of those other things that will give me profit and ask people for money for an entire year. And there is a reason for that. Me being who I am, I hate asking people for money. But I also know that with this, it's my job. I need to. You know what I'm saying? And I finally feel that I'm at a point in my life and in this job where the level of content, the level of work that I put into it, and all of the things that I offer for the community that join in and the content that I put out is worth money. Is worth money and is I feel acceptable to accept money from people. That is, in summation, the best way I can put it to make people understand how I'm feeling now. I have never felt comfortable asking for money because I didn't feel like I was good enough. And now I'm finally at the point where like I have a monthly sub goal now to help get some subs in, to get money to keep going. I have the Patreon to give things extra that I'm putting out, and also to get some extra cash flow. Those types of things. Like, I'm finally at a spot where it's not like, yeah, you can sub if you like, like sub if you like to, if you want to get the emotes, like buy some merch if you really like that, like the art and stuff. I was doing that before for the last year and a half when I started streaming. And now I finally feel like I'm at the point where I can confidently be like, yeah, this is worth your money. This is worth your money, and this is my job. And I'm happy and content with it. And I'm proud of what I'm putting out. That's where I'm at. I've always been proud of what I do, and I've always been like diligent and like, you guys know, I'm meticulous, and I like taking my time before I announce something or I put something out, because I want it to be perfect, because I want you guys to enjoy it, and I want to be proud of what I do, and I want to be proud of what I made. And so I can honestly say, like, now, even though I've been doing this for a year and I kind of need the money and I should have been doing this before, like, now I'm proud of what I do. And like I'm proud of that. Like, I've taught myself to edit things, and like I'm really excited for the rest of this year, because my goal is to just start pushing out more stuff. Like, I have the podcast every week, but then also now I have bonus episodes that I'm going to do for the Patreons, like episodes, more like TikTok clips and hover clips and things on Instagram, and I want to do more things on Twitter, like those types of things. Like, I feel like I'm just fine. I've been in a chrysalis phase, and now I'm a beautiful butterfly. Like, not to be like stupid or cliche, but like I'm proud of what I'm doing now. I feel like I've now understood how I need to do things. I'm there. I'm getting things done. I'm proud of myself and the work that I'm doing. And that's the best way to put it. I'm proud of the podcast. The podcast has been like my little baby. My little baby. I've had the idea of doing one for a while. Like, all the way back in my first fucking subathon, we had like the interviews with the people, and then we had Elevensies, which was really, really fun, and it was a spur of a moment idea with me and JP, and from us eating Subway on stream. And now it turned into this podcast, which I do every week, and I have guests on, and I have a bunch of people lined up to do. And I'm just really excited to do that. And who knows, maybe it'll get to 2 episodes a week for the podcast. Maybe I'll be able to do that. I don't know. Like, it's every Saturday and Wednesday. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. I'm just really excited for what's happening and what we've got going on, and I'm just excited for this year. I'm really excited for this year, and I want to thank every single one of you people who is listening right now and who has been joining in on stream and following on all this the crazy fucking year we've had already. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for just supporting me relentlessly over all of this crazy mayhem, and just being there. It's like, at the end of the day, no one has to give me money. It's like, do you want a pizza? Yeah, okay, let's pay Domino's, I'll get a pizza, Netflix is cool. I'll watch it every day, like I throw some shit on, like that's what I want to be, just a Netflix show. I want to be I want to be X-Files. I got a bunch of fucking seasons, and you can just keep watching if you like, and it's entertaining to throw up in the background when you got stuff on. I'm a morning streamer now, guys. Just come in and relax. come and relax and do your work with me in the background. Hopefully I can make you laugh while I'm doing so. You know, that's what I want to be. I want to be background noise to everyone's day. That's all I want. I think that's an achievable goal. I want to be Oh wow, setting my standards low. I want to be the background noise for everyone's day. That's legitimately in a nutshell what I want to be. I think that might be the title of the episode. I want to be the background noise to everyone's day. Yeah. 25 episodes of the podcast. 1,560 followers now. 42,000 views. And like 1,770 hours I've streamed since I've started. And 1 whole year of being full time. I'm proud. I am happy. I am ecstatic. I'm immaculate. Yeah, it's just I'm floored every time, and I want people to know how appreciative I am of them, or just watching and having a good time. And like, it's such a nice thing to hear when people are like, "Man, I missed your morning stream today. Like, it made me feel bad because I had to go into work and I just didn't have you up." It means the world. I want to be the background noise to your day. That's me, been Joshed. Eating your apples and having me on in the background. That's me. So thank you. That's all I want to say. Just fucking thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for enjoying yourself. Thank you for being here and sharing this experience with me over the past year. I've met so many awesome people. Every single person in my chat I remember because the names are iconic now. I recognize you. I can see who you are. I know who you are. We hang out. This is great. I love Twitch. I fucking love Twitch. So good. Fuck yes. So thank you. I know that this is going to be a shorter episode. I wanted to talk about that. I thought that would be good. And I got to record the bonus one, which I have a topic solely for the bonus episode, which I think will be interesting. But thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you for 25 episodes. Here's to 25 more and beyond. Here's to 1,500 followers and beyond. You know, many, many more views, many more streamed hours. I'm almost at 2,000 hours streamed. That's fucking nuts. That is absolutely an insane number. But yeah, check out the Patreon. Please check out the Twitch stream. Come hang out with us. We always have a good time. And come hang out in the Discord. Come spend time with me. Come spend time with Papa. Come to Papa. Come to me. But yeah, I love you guys in a non-parasocial relationship kind of way. I love that you guys love me. That sounds weird. Oh fuck. No, canceled. Josh is canceled. I love that. Well, no, I love that you guys love me. I'm glad that you guys enjoy me. I'm glad that I'm married. Back off. Oh fuck me. Oh man. What a time to be alive. Stay funky, guys. Stay absolutely funky and stay yourself, okay? Stay funky and stay yourself. And eat your apples, my dudes. See you in the next one. Peace.